Islamic friends. This time, Islamic circles are back in front of you to share Islamic information, hopefully inspiring your activities today. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notification so as not to miss the latest news from the Islamic Circles channel. The growth of the Muslim population is increasing sharply in Europe. Mosques are increasingly attracting people and are enlivened by Muslim worshippers. The rapid growth of Islam is particularly evident in British cities, including its capital, London. The widespread Islamization of London was almost complete, with hundreds of Islamic Sharia courts officially operating in the capital. Mosques are starting to operate there, even though the famous Christian churches have been there for hundreds of years. As we know, some time ago, the UK officially inaugurated a new king, King Charles III. Although the current leader is Christian, the latest news says that the church is currently experiencing a decline in congregations, even though the official religion in Great Britain is Christianity. With so many churches decorating the corners of the city, in another scene we can see clearly, the mosque congregation is even booming. Even for Friday prayers alone, it takes 3 ships so that Muslims can worship comfortably. Is this a sign that Christianity in the UK is no longer in high demand? Watch this video to the end so as not to misunderstand it. London is now better known as Londonistan. Why is that? Because London associates the city of London, England, with Muslim countries whose names end with the phrase "stan." For example, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, and others. The suffix "stan" comes from Persian, which means fertile land. The phase in London illustrates how much Islam has influenced the British capital, London, in recent times. From 2001 to 2023, 1,800 new mosques have been built in London. In the meantime, about 500 old churches have been closed, so that some churches that were abandoned by their congregations have been converted into mosques. For example, the Church of Buchanan, England, has been bought by Muslims in England and converted into a mosque. Similarly, St. Peter's Catholic Church in England was also converted into a mosque. There is also the Brick Lane Mosque in London, which was originally a Methodist church that has now also been turned into a mosque. It's not just the buildings that are changing, it's the people too, because in 2016, the number of converts to Islam in London doubled. So they're buying up abandoned churches and turning them into mosques. A London media outlet deliberately and specifically published a series of videos and photos of Londonistan facts. This included a photo of a mosque and a neighboring church in central London, or a scene inside London's San Giovanni Church, which has a capacity of 1,230 people. However, only 12 people attended, and at Mass, only 20 people were present in the Cathedral of St. Mary. In contrast, the mosques in London have a different problem due to their maximum capacity of only 100 people, but the prayer congregation turned out to be overflowing. Muslims are forced to spill out onto the streets for Friday and holiday prayers. Added to this is the fact that the current mayor of London is Sadiq Khan, London's first Muslim mayor. He wants to ensure that London plays a role in the national recovery. Sadiq Khan also wants to build a better and brighter future for the city he leads, including the minorities in London, including Muslims. Religious homogeneity in Britain today has faded as Christian dominance has disappeared. Many London media outlets predict that in the next 20 years, the number of Muslims in London is expected to outnumber the number of Christians. A social research study found that between 2012 and 2014, the number of Christians in the UK declined by 1.7 million, while the number of Muslims in the same year increased rapidly to 1 million people in several cities. For example, Manchester, Muslims reached 15.8%. In the city of Birmingham, Muslims reached 15.8%. Even in Bradford, Muslims make up around 25% of the population. Therefore, it is only natural that Islamophobes are increasingly alarmed that a wave of Islamization is sweeping across the UK. But for those who understand the destiny of the civilizational process, they will not feel any anxiety at all. Moreover, they consider the phenomenon of Londonistan a nightmare for Great Britain. In fact, the Londonistan phenomenon is simply an expression of the changing religious demographic map in the UK, where Christianity is experiencing a period of post-maturity while Islam is experiencing a period of growth. The decline in the number of Christian believers is not the result of the growth of Islam. Since the 1970s, when Muslims were still very few in number in the Western European region, symptoms of a decline in the number of church-going Christians have already occurred. The number of people who administratively left Christianity was also growing, as they objected to paying the legal church tax. Their tax was required to be deducted directly from their monthly salary. Many of the younger generation of Western Europeans at the time had begun to regard Christianity as irrelevant because it did not fit with the times. So we can conclude that so-called Islamophobia is actually a delusional disease, deliberately engineered by those who feel their interests are threatened by the growing number of Muslims. Such is the discussion of Londonistan. When in the English City of London, the mosques are growing and the churches are declining and deserted. Muslims don't need to be the majority in Britain. They just need to gradually Islamize the most important cities in Britain. The change is already happening. London is not a nightmare for the Muslim majority. It is a cultural, demographic, and religious hybrid, where Christianity is declining and Islam is advancing around the world. Viewers of Islamic Circles, until our meeting this time, I hope you all inspire us until we see you in the next video.